enough. I don't deserve this. I should have done better. My inner critic was very loud. But that was not the real problem. The real problem was people's judgment that had started to define how I saw myself. I couldn't separate from their thoughts from what I believed. And I carried it for days, sometimes weeks. I replayed conversations. I questioned myself until their voice became louder than my own. Quiet anger was what I had lived. I replayed conversations. I questioned myself until all of this became too much. I decided to seek professional support. Not because I was ready to heal, but I wanted to rant, and so I did. This person is undermining me. It's so wrong. How do people get away with it? Maleeha, why does it matter what anybody thinks? I'm sorry this happened to you. What? You don't understand. It's wrong. It's injustice. Forget about this person. They don't matter. What matters is you. Why does it even matter what anybody thinks? Why are you giving away that power? That question was simple, but for me it wasn't. I was raised to care what people think. Sit up straight. Don't talk too much. Lose weight. What will people say? Bit by bit, we start living for that world. That world probably just exists in our heads. I was chasing people's approval like oxygen until I drifted away from that one thing that matters the most, which was myself. And I asked this very important question and I reflected on it. Why do other people's opinion matter so much and hold so much power? And that's when the real work began. I built my 3 pillars: self-love, self-trust, and self-worth. Because when I was stressed, it showed in my tone, in my thoughts. I became so critical of my own self that I second-guessed everything. I tore myself down. You see, self-love didn't come easily to me. I didn't keep on repeating, I love myself, and believed in it. It was a slow and patient practice. You know, when that inner voice becomes louder than yourself, just pause. Remind yourself, I'm doing the best I can. Lean on your friends. Go for a walk like I did. And one day, I picked up my paintbrushes and started to paint. The one powerful act of self-love is just simply saying, I am enough. For self-love to work, self-trust was necessary. I started to lean on my instinct to pick up those paintbrushes, to go for those walks, and stop seeking approval and permissions. And slowly, other people's voices had no meaning, no power. Self-trust did one other thing. It gave me the courage to move forward even when I was making mistakes. But for self-love and self-trust to work, self-worth was very important. And self-worth was the one thing and a gift that I gave myself, because that's when I stopped questioning, am I enough? And believing, I am enough. When I started to value myself, everything shifted. I became more patient, became more grounded and compassionate. My 3 pillars helped me get over an election that I lost in 2021. What people saw was result. What I lived was quiet anger, self-doubt, and the unraveling of my confidence. But what helped me were my 3 pillars. And today I make every important decision by the intentional practice of my 3 pillars: self-love, self-trust, and self-worth. And I became so committed to that inner work that I wrote a book about it. But to be very honest, I can tell you, the pillar that I struggled with was self-love. But I was not alone. A global study tells us that 1 in 2 women go through more self-doubt than self-love. Here in Canada, the self-love index sits about 50 out of 100. That means all of us, or half of us, are walking through life doubting our worth. Now, is that a passing grade? No, absolutely not. So here's what it is, and a very powerful thing. When we start seeking for validation, we move away from the one thing that already exists within us, which is our strength. So, I want you to do me a favor. Fill yourself with resilience. Use my cheat sheet: love, trust, and worth. Start with kindness. Start with yourself. Face the world with love. Anchor yourself in trust. And every day, remind yourself of your worth.